Good day to you. I like to see artists kind of like fishermen, and the art they create is the net that they cast into the ocean when they're aiming to catch these fish. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but the way I see it, these nets, they're designed to catch certain kinds of fish just through the physical shape of the net. The holes are, only a certain size. There's gonna be smaller fish that are wrangled within the net that just, seep through the holes and get away. The bigger fish, depending on the net, will probably tear through the net and it's not really gonna be that sturdy. So only like a select kind of fish are gonna be captured by this net. As an artist, I think when I make my art, I don't necessarily make it for people who are just passing by and are just gonna not really pay that much attention to it. I don't know if this is sounding quite vain, I don't know, but I don't necessarily make it with a passerby in mind. I'm making it for someone like this. This is me in 2015, which was 10 years ago. Oh my God. I can't keep doing this, bro. It was around the time that an album called To Pimp a Butterfly had come out, which nowadays is, I'll just call it's my favorite album of all time. When I first heard it, I thought it was incredibly boring. Bear in mind, I was young and I wasn't that familiar with jazz and funk and all that stuff. But I literally remember on my first listen, going through all the tracks and thinking, what? Like, what is that? I don't care. I didn't even have Spotify Premium at the time, so I was listening on my iPad because that bypassed the, you have to play an album all in a row or whatever, the restriction or whatever. And I just distinctly remember getting to the last track, Mortal Man, and then hearing Kendrick speak to Tupac and thinking, okay, man, I feel like I missed something here, bro. How did we get here? My experience with music up until that point was, I liked Drake, whoopsies. I knew about Childish Gambino. I knew a lot more of British music than I did American music. I was a fan of Kano. Tinchy Stryder was big at the time. You had Tiny Temper. Didn't know too much about many of the other genres. I knew a little bit about indie, but I was yet to find out more about the world of music anyway. Upon hearing Tupac talking to Kendrick and thinking, something is happening here that I completely missed, it was a spark lit in my head that gave me an intrigue into this piece, and it made me go back and listen to it again. And I kept going back and listening to it more and more and more, discovering these references and the themes and all these points of interest and who's Lucy and what's the yams, to get to the point where he's talking about Nelson Mandela on the final track and his trip to Africa and how that informed basically this entire album. Then he's telling this poem that explains the entire title of the album to Tupac, and I'm just like, oh, man, this is art, bro. This is really art. This is the potential of music. I understand it now.
He said, I want you to have something. Sure enough, I took it back to the bus. I played it, and it's a full, long, unreleased joint of him just asking them questions. And what intrigued me the most, what gave me the idea, is that the answers that Pac is giving are answers for today, right? Time and age, right, man. And I said, the world gotta hear this.
When Kendrick was making that album, I don't think he was making it for people who felt the way I felt in the beginning and then just disregarded it. I think he made it for the person who I ended up becoming. Look at the depth he applied to that piece of art. You can't tell me he made that for mass appeal, bro. That's clear, that's obvious. I'd like for it to be the way in which I approach making art myself. I remember maybe just over a year ago, I was part of a music performance showcase, and after the showcase they had a panel where they had industry professionals feed back to the artists that were part of it on their performance and give some criticism, critiques or whatever. When it came to me, one of the panelists was a very high profile BBC Radio 1 DJ, and she had said of my performance that it could potentially be quite alienating to a lot of people because of, in part, my performance style, obviously the style of music that I'm doing. I talked a lot during that performance and wanted to explain the process of these songs and create some kind of a narrative throughout. And she had said that, you kind of have to know your audience and there would potentially be a lot of people not paying attention, which there were. And while I understand that, yeah, maybe I can talk a little bit too much, I learned my lesson on that one. When I was on stage, bro, I wasn't looking at the people in the back at the bar who were just using me as background noise or whatever. I was looking at the people directly in front of me who were dialed in. I could see them locked in from the stage, and they were really, really being attentive to what was going on. Why would I throw myself to the back over there when they're not paying attention to me and try and get their attention when I already have attention over here? And besides, getting attention wasn't the intention of me creating these pieces of art, which I'm obviously now performing. The intention is to just do something interesting. You know what I mean? If it's not interesting, then it must become interesting. It's like my base mode of operations, because I like interesting stuff. So, you know, that's what I want to do. And the people who want to give it attention, that's up to them, not me. The most I can do is cast my net as wide and far as I can. But I'm not going to change the shape of the net to catch every fish. The danger being that you're gonna catch a lot of fish who are maybe kind of low quality. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily speak on the audience like that, but in this analogy, this very loose analogy, a fish who is low quality is a person in the audience who doesn't really care. And granted, there'll be a lot of those, there'll be some of those, but in this net that I'm casting, I know I'm gonna catch fish that the net was designed to catch. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense, bro? I don't know. I just turned this camera on and started talking. It is the 5th of January, 2025. I just wanted to start this new year off with intention and purpose. And I am still kind of just starting here, bro, you know? Besides what the quality of the camera might make you think. In fact, bro, look. This is you. That's what you look like. That's what I'm seeing. You think it's all glitz and glamour. I got the tripod on my desk, bro, just like that. I'm just doing it. Do you know what I mean? I am currently making a project that I'm really, really excited about, and I can't stop talking about it to everyone around me. And I already know that it's like really challenging. I'm not too sure, because I like it, but I have a feeling it's not the most easily digestible thing. I'm already not really getting played on BBC Introducing like that. This one, who knows? One can only hope, but we'll see. But I'm hoping that the concept alone, as well as like the execution, it might be enough to make people go, what's going on over there? Do you know what I mean? I often think about imposter syndrome. I made a whole song about it, in fact. When it came to a justification for why I make art. And it was always tough to justify myself and my existence in this space. There's so many other artists in this saturated, super, ultra, mega saturated industry. Why would you listen to me? Why me of all these people? And I think that's the wrong way to frame the entire thing. It shouldn't be a justification as to why you should listen to me. It should be a justification on my own self as to why I'm making it in the first place. Because I'm not making it to appeal to the most amount of people, bro. If you don't want to listen, that's your choice. I'm making it for this guy right here, bro. The person who hears something and they're like, oh my gosh, that was so sick. What does that mean? Google. That's who I'm making it for, because that's the feeling I get when I hear cool music, when I watch really cool TV, when I watch a sick movie, when I read a fucking sick book. I'm just like, we need to go deeper. That's a dated Inception reference, bro. You know how we do. And this thought and this new project that's coming up, it's made me fall in love with making art all over again. It's given me that juvenile sense of discovery, of play, and of exploration and opportunity. I'm bubbling, I'm buzzing. I'm just super excited to be an artist, because it's not for me about how many people listen. It's just about if you care to listen. And that doesn't really have much to do with me, other than I've made the thing. It's more to do with you. And if you are willing to stick around and dive deep with me. Yeah, it's the beginning of 2025. I just wanted to make myself a little manifesto, a little reminder as to why. But if this resonated with you and you want to make some stuff, don't think about me when you make it. Think about you. Take care.